Acura calls it the ZDX. GM calls it an Ultium EV. The Coast Guard calls it a suspicious red SUV with no license plates sitting far too close to our base. So first and foremost, what exactly is this car? Well, the Acura ZDX is Acura's first all-electric vehicle. But the interesting thing is, Acura didn't make the ZDX. Rather, this car was manufactured in Tennessee by GM. And this electric crossover actually shares the same platform as 4 other electric SUVs. They are the Chevy Blazer EV, the Honda Prologue, the Cadillac Lyriq, and the Cadillac Vistiq. That makes for 5 different electric SUVs made under 4 different brands, all sharing the exact same platform. And this platform is quite decent. So if you get the Prologue or Blazer EV, the base models of those will come with an 85 kilowatt hour battery pack. As standard on the ZDX, you get a 102 kilowatt hour battery pack that's good for a range of up to 313 miles. It comes with 3 different powertrain options. The first is the A-Spec rear wheel drive. This is the base model, and this one makes 358 horsepower and 324 pound-feet of torque. It's good for a 0 to 60 time of in the 5-second range, and it can travel 313 miles. Even though this is the base single motor version, it still weighs 5,421 pounds. That is a lot of weight. If you prefer all-wheel drive power, you can get this version right here. This has 1 motor on the front, 1 motor on the rear, and it makes 490 horsepower and 437 pound-feet of torque. This one shaves a little range off, but you still get 304 miles. The all-wheel drive version adds more weight, and this one comes in at 5,904 pounds. If you really crave power, then you can go for the ZDX Type S. This one makes 9 more horsepower than the all-wheel drive, so instead of 490, you get 499 horsepower, but you get a massive torque bump at 544 pound-feet of torque. Since this one's more performance-oriented, you get bigger wheels, bigger brakes, and a lot of other stuff like that. The only issue is it adds on weight, and now you're at 6,052 pounds, and the range comes down to 278 miles. Regardless, all Acura ZDX trims have a 3,500 pound towing capacity, and the standard array of features is actually really impressive. So even on the base A-Spec model, you get ventilated leather seats, a power opening sunroof, adaptive cruise control, a Bang & Olufsen sound system, and many more amenities. It's honestly quite nice for the base model and a massive step up from the Honda Prologue and even the Cadillac Lyriq, because even in the Cadillac Lyriq, you don't get the premium sound system or the ventilated seats. This all sounds good, but then there comes the price. So the rear-wheel drive model starts at around $66,000, and the all-wheel drive model, like this one right here, is around 70 grand. After this car launched, Acura started sending out some more incentives on these cars, and the lease prices came down a lot. Now, the effect of that is that used models like this one right here are coming down in price substantially. So this car has an MSRP of $69,850. Today, you can get this used with under 10,000 miles for $38,000. And in today's video, I'll take you on a tour of the Acura ZDX, give you some cool fun facts about this car, and hopefully steer you in the right direction on if this is the right car for you to purchase. And now diving into this review, the first really interesting thing about the Acura ZDX is the fact that it is 197.7 inches long, 5 inches longer than a Honda Prologue, and this thing just feels very large. So even when you're navigating in parking lots, you definitely feel you're behind the wheel of something quite large. This thing is over 10 inches longer than a Tesla Model Y, but the interesting thing is the ZDX does not offer third row seating, so this is strictly a 2-row electric crossover. All ZDX trims offer 7 inches of ground clearance. The base A-Spec model comes with traditional spring suspension, but the Type S comes with air suspension, and that can be increased to 1 more inch of ground clearance, so you get up to 8 inches in the Type S. The ZDX's large design delivers a pretty substantial storage area back here. We get a very large and accessible storage area, and underneath here, we get even more lower load floor area. Now, what's interesting is, if you get the air suspension model, a lot of this will be taken up with the air tank. And all ZDXs come with a power tailgate. And with this large design, and considering this car was built from the ground up as an EV, we should expect a massive front trunk. But unfortunately, there is none in the Acura ZDX. And overall, the Acura ZDX's exterior styling is pretty cool. It has a lot of presence to it. It's muscular, but it also looks slightly like a hearse considering how far back this A-pillar is. But I don't know, some buyers might be into that sort of stuff, so if you do want to cosplay as a funeral home director, then I would get this in black. But I'd say the best part about the ZDX is the interior. So to open the door, you just open this door handle. It's very normal. When you get inside the second row seats of the Acura ZDX, you'll be pleased. It's actually pretty nice in here. So first off, you have perforated white leather seats. The leather quality in here feels a lot better than the Honda Prologue. We also get 2 rear AC vents, 2 USB-C ports, and a storage cubby right here. There's a center armrest with 2 cup holders, and all rear seat passengers will get visual access to this nice panoramic glass roof. This car also has a flat rear floor area, so there is plenty of legroom for everyone. And just like the Honda Prologue, this middle seat actually has a slight indentation in it, so even sitting here, it's extremely comfortable. There's honestly so much space in these back seats, I feel like I could host a cookout back here. It's really, really spacious. A little less nice, however, is the lower portion of this door panel. So I'll be honest, the top half is really nice. We do have soft touch up here, leather right here, and a nice material with ambient lighting right there. But the lower portion of this door panel is basically the same that you get in a Chevy Blazer or a Honda Prologue, just lots of cheap black plastic. The front seats are the same deal. So you have some really nice materials in some places and then some not so nice materials in other places. For instance, these front seats are incredibly comfortable. We have decent bolstering and the leather is just as soft as the rear. But then you get lots of cheap plastic right there, more cheap plastic, and you have this sort of armrest thing that seems to have the structural integrity of my cousin riding on a jet ski. Even though we get subtle hints here and there that GM made this car, from the drive selector, the blinker stalks, the window switches, the lock and unlock button, etc., this cabin is still really nice. For instance, just the standard features alone on this interior are really impressive. For instance, we get a really good sounding Bang & Olufsen sound system, a panoramic glass roof, a leather wrapped steering wheel, heated and ventilated front seats, wireless phone charging, and plenty of space and storage. When you turn on this car, you'll receive a startup chime that seems kind of like it would be from GM, and the font and everything just looks like it's directly carried over from any other GM product. You go into the main infotainment display and you'll see that the layout is very similar, if not directly copied from the Chevy Blazer, Honda Prologue, Cadillac Lyriq, etc. One of the good things about this infotainment system is the Google Maps system right here. So say we want to plan a road trip, let's just say we want to go to the Colorado School of Mines, we click there and it loads a route for us. We click there, and then it will start calculating our route with all our charging stops. And it honestly works really, really well. And once our route is created, we can click on this little icon right here, and we can see all our charging stops. We can see exactly what time we need to reach the charging station at, and how long we're going to be spending charging. As you can see, some of these charging stops are a little long. For instance, this one Electrify America stop is 46 minutes. We'll get to the charging in a little bit, and that's one of the ZDX's caveats, and that is that this car just doesn't really charge that fast, but we'll get to that later. Overall, this Google-based system works really well, and it works just the same as it would in a Polestar 2 or any other car with a Google-based system. I really don't have any complaints with it. The ZDX also offers some additional features like ambient lighting, so you can choose the color right there, which is pretty cool. You also have a few other additionals like OnStar, because this is a GM product, and the Wi-Fi hotspot. But when it comes to the tech and what this car is capable of, it really starts to disappoint. So say we click on charging, for instance. Well, we can set our charging limits. So this is pretty easy. We want to set 80%, 90%, etc. But there's no way to adjust the current limit in this car. So say you're charging overnight and you don't want it to charge so quickly and you want to set your amperage limit down to maybe 10 amps, you can't do that in this car. The funny thing is, I had a 2016 Chevy Volt, also manufactured by GM, and you could change the current limits in that car, but you can't in this car. That's kind of lame. But it all isn't complaints. First off, if we want to turn on or off one pedal driving, we click right there. And once we click there, we can set the level from off, normal, or high. That's really nice. It's quick and easy to access that. That's good. What's also good is the fact that we have our climate control knobs right here. So temperature right there, fan speed right there, seat ventilation, heating, all that stuff right there with the click of a button. There's no fumbling through the infotainment menu to adjust something as simple as your climate control. That's good. And right over here, we can see our central gauge cluster. And this is really nice because we can easily see our battery percent, our power output, our speed, and our Google Maps. We can also change this if we press here, and we can see slightly different functionality. So this is our total map view. And we can see some driver assistance features as well. And overall, regarding the infotainment and gauge cluster, I think this software is just good enough. It doesn't really do anything that crazy, but at least you got some nice functionality like the route planning through Google Maps or the wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. Are there better systems out there? 100%, but I think the ZDX system will probably cut it for most people. And now it's time to talk about the charging experience on the Acura ZDX. So your charge port is located right up here. And for DC charging, you pull off this little plug, and this car can accept up to 190 kilowatts. I did some charge testing on this car, and unfortunately, the charge curve is not that great. So by the time I was around 55% state of charge, I was only pulling around 75 kilowatts. As a testament to my experience, this car tends to take around 45 to 50 minutes to go from 10 to 80%. That is just not very fast. When we have Audi e-trons doing under 30 minutes and Kia EV6s, albeit with their 800 volt battery architectures, doing under 20 minutes from 10 to 80%, this car just doesn't feel that fast at all. The real plus side for me with the Acura ZDX is its long range. So obviously, if you get even the all-wheel drive model with 304 miles, you can go really far before needing to charge. But when it does come time to charge, it's not gonna charge very fast. Still, if you're going on a road trip and you plan that you're gonna stop an hour for lunch, then 45 minutes really isn't that bad. So this is more of a matter of perspective and how this car fits into your travel lifestyle. All right, and now we're driving the Acura ZDX. First off, acceleration. Okay, it's somewhat quick. So first off, 490 horsepower. That's a lot of power. The only issue is this car, well, it doesn't deliver that power incredibly quickly. So we have some EVs out there that give you the power instantly, not in the Acura ZDX. This almost feels kind of akin to an internal combustion engine vehicle. Not a huge fan of that. But it still has plenty of power for merging. It just doesn't feel as nimble and agile as some other EVs. Now, next off, on the driving experience, the suspension is very soft. It's a very comfortable car to drive on the highway with. Steering is surprisingly heavy. That was a little weird because especially on a bigger luxury SUV, you would kind of expect light steering, but the steering is actually somewhat heavy. And once again, this is a bigger, heavier vehicle, so there is a decent amount of body roll when you go into corners. And next, in terms of the NVH in this cabin, it's quite quiet. There is not a lot of intrusions and vibrations that you get in here. It's pretty comfortable when you're cruising on the highway. If you opt for the rear-wheel drive model, this car will be a little bit slower, 0 to 60, but still it can accelerate to 60 in under 6 seconds, which is not bad at all. I don't think you need anything faster in a big luxury SUV like this. In terms of autonomous driving. If you get the base model A-Spec, you get adaptive cruise control, but unfortunately there is no lane centering. That's a bit of a miss. Helps alleviate the stress in highway driving, but we do not get that in this car. So we do have like lane keep assist, but it will just kind of bounce you in and out of the lane. It doesn't do a really great job. So you do have to keep your hands on the wheel in this car. If you upgrade to the Type S, you will get an iteration of Super Cruise, which works really well and has way more functionality. You can take your hands off the wheel for that one, but not in the A-Spec. And overall, in this A-Spec, the driving experience is really nice. It's quite pleasant, it's quiet, and it feels very luxurious. And which trim should you consider if you're looking for an Acura ZDX? So, first and foremost, I really think this A-Spec offers a pretty good package for the base model. The only really thing missing for me is the fact that we don't have any hands-free driving. So this car doesn't do any lane centering, so you still need to keep your hands on the wheel at all times. But other than that, this car has really nice leather seats, they're ventilated, you get a power opening sunroof, you have a great sound system and plenty of storage. So I think even this base A-Spec model has a really good value proposition. And then that brings us on to the overall verdict of this car. Should you consider an Acura ZDX? Well, it does a lot of things well. It drives really nicely, it has great suspension, it has solid range, and it's very comfortable inside with all the standard amenities. Is it the perfect car? Absolutely not. This thing does not have the best charging times, and the tech is a little mediocre on the inside. And considering how much prices have come down recently, you can get this car for less money than a new Honda Prologue. This car right here is almost $12,000 less than a base model Honda Prologue that's front-wheel drive. This car has a bigger battery, more range, slightly better charging, and a much more premium overall package. I really think that the Acura ZDX is becoming a worthwhile consideration. If you've enjoyed this video, please give us a subscribe on YouTube and check out our other car review videos. Thank you for watching.